Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
Something I want to talk about group dynamics. And so when you get into a group of men of any shape, color, size, creed, interest, what have you, you're going to find very quickly in a group setting that a good number of the men, a non-trivial percentage, I would say upwards of 90, maybe even 95% of the men are just along for the ride. And I'm not trying to diminish like what that is, right? There's a lot of organizations where just being along for the ride is fine. Sometimes just the crew of like-minded folks being in the same room creates a valuable experience. But what's more likely and important relative to our last episode is that you're going to find a lot of guys will complain about the experience that they're having in lodge or in any of the groups, the special interest groups they might have. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Shouldn't we do X, Y, or Z? Or they'll complain, we don't do enough of this or that or the other thing. You're going to find that this is a common occurrence. And it is super important to not bite on any of that stuff because that's all nonsense. It's people complaining that they want something different, but they're unwilling to do the work to make it happen, which means even if you did all the work to make it happen, you are essentially playing the wrong game. In corporate America, they call it find me a rock. And the idea is your boss or the manager or whomever gives you a project. I need you to go find me a rock down by the river. And so you go and not knowing what you're looking for, you grab a rock and you bring it back and you hand it to the boss and they go, no, not that rock. I'm looking for something a little more rock-like. Okay. And you go back down to the river and you get another one. And you do this forever because people don't know what they want more often than not. They know what they don't want. And when we start looking at lodges and the lodge experience and things like that, if you don't have a concrete vision of what you're trying to create, if you don't have a perfect ashlar in mind, if you don't have the layout of the temple you're building, then you can't be upset with what you got. It doesn't mean that guys aren't upset with what they got, because there's tons of guys. The human capacity to complain seems limitless. But when you hear it, your role as a change agent, as a leader, as somebody who's going through this process and becoming the best version of yourself that you can be, the next question needs to be, or could be, or should be, depending on who you ask. Wow, it sounds like you're upset about that. What steps can we take together to fix it? You'll find 90% of the time, the answer is, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. Or, I know what we could do, but I don't want to do it because it's going to take too much time or too much effort. This is also why you can't work anybody else's stone. You can't fix anybody else's problems. The challenges that you're going to face in your life, all of your complaints, all of the experiences you're trying to create, everything is just for you. Your relationships, your intimate relationships with family and all that kind of stuff, that's a little bit different. You co-create those, but the properties of those relationships, just like the properties of your lodge experience, emerge from the effort of the members. The lodge experience, internally and externally, is an emergent property of the work of the members doing it. The members doing the work. So when things come up, and they do, what are the causes that brought us to this situation, and who is willing to undertake the work to fix it? should be your sort of vital triage. And then understand that even if you were to try and fix the environment on behalf of someone else, they're playing Find Me a Rock. They're going to find the next thing to complain about. And none of that really matters anyway. So take control and responsibility of your own effort. Take control and responsibility of your own complaints. And then as you do this, as you become more of an agent of change and more of a leader in your lodge, you will be able to influence that lodge experience as a byproduct of your effort, not in direct result, because it doesn't work that way. Again, the group experience is a byproduct of the effort of the members. And as a fundamental sort of side note here, that's where the fraternity has historically been super successful, is that the fraternity itself, the experience, the fraternitas, the togetherness, is supposed to be experienced through the work, not merely by assemblage. You don't just get a bunch of guys in a room and expect them to cleave. Like, that's not the way it works. You do the work together. You do your work. They do their work. You experience the hardships and the trials and tribulations that come with it. And you build meaningful relationships. And the fraternity there is emergent from that work. So with that, go forth, work your stone.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.